Recording will start in a moment. There we go. And now we are live. Is not really live. We're going to talk about live streaming later, actually.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. All right. So let's level up just like Mario here. Again, those of you, most of you, I think were here before and know me, but my name's Catherine Goyette, the Educational Technology and Integrated Studies Consultant for Tulare County Office of Ed in Central California. It's my I'm just finishing my 4th year there, and love what I do, working with teachers, administrators, and supporting students. So before that, I taught kinder, 1st, 2nd, 5th, and 6th, and now I support all grade levels. Glad to be here.
All right. So next, all right, I'm Adam Juarez. I'm a tech integration coach, grade 6-12 for Cutler Rossi Joint Unified School District. So like Catherine, what she does for all of Tulare County, I do for one district within Tulare County out here in rural Central California. This is the end of my 15th year as an educator. Kind of an odd way to end a landmark year, but hey, I got a job, I'm getting paid, so, I can't complain too much.
Amen to that.
Yeah, a lot of people who aren't that fortunate. But anyways, the first 10 years of my career, I was a U.S. and world history teacher for grades 7, 8, 10, and 11. And the last 5 years on assignment as an ed tech coach. Let's let someone else in real quick.
Perfect.
Let's see. There we go.
All right.
All right.
So just a reminder, I know we've gone over this every time, but where to mute your mic, leave the call, turn off your video, share your screen, and view a list of participants, and of course, join the chat, which I will drop that link in one more time. By the way, if you want a transcript of the chat, we're going to show you how you can do that on your own.
Yeah, we're going to kind of go over some of the other functions here that we don't have arrows for, especially the 3 dots. So here's a Google Insider tip. Wherever you see the 3 dots, that's where Google hides all the cool stuff. So always explore the 3 little dots wherever you go.
Absolutely. So we want to know, what are your plans for the near future? What is it that you are wanting to do? And perhaps that will help us guide our conversation here as we become Google Meet masters. So in the chat, let us know, what are your Google Meet plans, either within the next couple weeks or so, or maybe for the fall.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So again, in the chat, what are your Google Meet plans or goals? Okay. So Michelle says she tried to share her screen, but then she couldn't see her students. Yes. So as far as a way to do both, you could 2 devices or have 2 windows. It's a little tricky with Google Meet. Yeah,
that's totally a different.
It's a lot easier in when you're sharing your screen.
So right now, here's how you here's how I'm doing right now. I'm sharing my screen right now, and all you can see is my Google Meet. Yes, I know. So to be able to see at least most of your kids here, if you go to the more options, the 3 little dots I was referring to, and you go to change layout, and you choose sidebar. That usually can give you
but not when you're presenting.
That's right. When you're presenting, you can't do that. So that's definitely a drawback for Google Meet. I know with Zoom, you're able to have like a little floating little thing there that you can, wherever you're at. So that is definitely a drawback to Google Meet. I will say.
So what I like to do is I have 2 devices set up. So if you have a tablet or another computer, which I know not everyone does, you can log in to both devices to the Google Meet with your account twice on different devices. And that way you can see your screen on one, and then you can see your students on the other. So that's kind of a hack to do it that way. But unfortunately, within the Google Meet itself, you're not able to see both, unfortunately.
And Google Meet is evolving right now because it was originally designed for business use for like teams, small teams that were just collaborating on like documents and stuff. That was the original intent behind it. And then now that it's in education, that there's a whole new set of demands on it. So all these things that we see as drawbacks, that whereas Zoom was kind of built for a much wider audience, Meet is catching up. I mean, from what I know of Google, they're never the first one to come out with something.
Mhm.
They kind of see what's out there, and then they kind of adjust based on that. So if you're like, man, this Meet is just kind of not what I need yet, just give it time. It eventually Google does catch up, and they kind of learn from the mistakes other companies do. At least in my experience with Google. So great questions.
Yeah, so we have some people kind of. I'm wondering if we should take a moment to talk about the differences, because there are some people saying that they aren't sure what their district is going to use, or they're on the advisory team as far as Meet or Zoom. So Zoom has a lot more features. It's not quite as user-friendly, but it hasn't really been much of a problem that I've seen with most. I mean, it took a little bit of time for parents to learn it, but there's a lot more features. You can mute students as they come in. There's a lot of things that you can do with an extension on Google Meet, but it's not native. So if it were me right now, I would use Zoom probably for like for a classroom with students. However, if it's a one-on-one, or it's just a real quick
informal, like an office hours.
Office hours, or 2 or 3 kids or whatever, I would rather use Meet. So what I don't know, that's kind of a general overall. What would you say to that, Adam?
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I use both platforms. In my role with my district, I do office hours daily, for 2-3 hours at a time, and I'm using Meet because it's easier for me to schedule that way, because it's built right into Google Calendar. I don't have to go to the Zoom, log into Zoom, and then set everything up, and then push it to Google Calendar. It's just easier that way for me, just because we are a Google district. But when I have done large scale sessions where there's a lot of people and I want to do breakout rooms and stuff like that, Zoom is definitely the ticket. But for some things that are probably less formal, the quicker, smaller settings, Meet for me has been, it doesn't have all the features of Zoom, but it has pretty much basically just what I need, and it's quicker and easier to use. I like the interface better.
Yes. Yes. So Michelle, 2 monitors will work. You can have the dual monitors. That will be fine. Security concerns on Meets. So if you are scheduling it within Classroom, which we talked about, and we'll just review very briefly, we'll just kind of show you the GIF again. But if you schedule it within Classroom, the good thing is it's just those that are enrolled in your class that can join. So that's a good thing about security. However, you cannot, within the native app, mute kids as they come in. You can't turn off have them, not able to turn on their camera. So those are some things that are could be potential security challenges for those that, which if there's those that don't want their, parents that don't want their kids' videos on, or for those that, it can get real loud. Those that don't know how to mute, it can get real frustrating. So,
but you can mute kids,
you can,
So
and remove them.
Yeah, but as far as scheduling, when you want, if you're a Google district, Meet's going to be easier as far as scheduling, because there's less steps involved.
Yeah.
Anything we can do to be more efficient is definitely a win in this situation. As far as security and the whole thing of Zoom bombers, it's you have to set up. There's more settings to do in Zoom that to protect yourself than there are in Meet, where there's less steps you have to do. It's easier to keep it within just the people that you want. So if you're scheduling Google Meet through Calendar, you really don't have to worry about it getting out to the public and someone being inappropriate. Zoom's a different story because you have to share links a couple different ways. Meet is through Calendar, boom, boom, and you're in. So it's as far as preventing those outsiders from interfering, for my money, Meet is more secure.
Yeah, it is more user friendly too, both for the host and for the students.
All right.
All right, so closed captioning is really cool, as I said there. So back in, I think, I don't think we talked about this. We talked about layouts. With closed captioning, they actually moved the button there, didn't they? No, they didn't. They didn't. I was thinking something else. So yeah, if you click that button that says turn on captions, you're going to see that closed captioning. And what's nice about it is, back in 2010, when I used Google Translate and native speakers told me not to, it's because Google was listening and writing word for word. And so now they use what's called machine learning to learn what phrases go together in certain languages. And they do use that same technology with the closed captioning. There also is capital letters and periods now, which wasn't the case at the beginning.
Let's go ahead and try this out real quick. So I turn the captions on. There you go. It was listening.
Yeah.
Captions are turned on, so it's gonna. It is gonna go ahead and show those things there as we go.
So awesome. So Michelle's saying she uses it because of hearing loss. Absolutely. It's also nice for younger students as they're learning to read, as they're learning to track the text. So that's also a great thing to do.
And this, I mean, there's with Google Meet. Here's a little hack that you can use with the closed captioning. If you want to record a lesson that has the closed captions on there automatically, maybe because you're working with SPED students who need to be able to see that, or ELs, you want them to see the language while they're while it's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You can record the Google Meet, and it'll record it with all those things in there. So you might say, well, I could do the same thing with Google Slides and Screencastify, but if you're, Screencastify, if you don't pay for the subscription, then you're limited to 5 minutes. So that could be Meet could definitely be a hack to not have to pay for the Screencastify subscription, because you can do the same thing in Meet, share your screen, record it, and you could throw those captions in there, and you wouldn't have to use the ones that are built into Slides.
So so Yolanda, it will not give you a printout of all of the closed captions, but like Adam was saying, if you record the Meet, the only thing you have to be careful of is if your district allows you to record a Meet with students. That's up to them. While U.S. Department of Ed and FERPA regulations do allow that if it's only shared with those inside the classroom, those students, you have to check with your district. If you haven't already, I'd like you to check out the Google, check out the closed captions, because it'll work on yours and you'll see it. So you may have to click out of the chat to see the white bar on the bottom, but then turn on those captions just so you can see what it's like. If you haven't tried that already, it's a pretty cool feature, and that's something that you could teach your kids to do so that they would be able to see as you are speaking what you said there. We talked about this a little bit, how you can change the layout. And so Adam showed you that this question came up on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So we did talk about this a bit, but the tiled, I believe you can look at 16 or 16 at a time. Mm-hmm. So if you have a class of 20, you won't be able to see all the student faces, but to be honest, it's going to be more effective with students to have 3 smaller groups of 15 minutes each than one 45-minute session with your whole class. You're going to go deeper with the content. You're going to be able to really hear what they have to say. So if you are doing Google Meets with students, those smaller groups are more helpful anyway. And the great thing about that tiled approach is if you use whiteboards and have the kids put up their whiteboards, you can see them all at once, just like those of you that are using Google or that are using whiteboards, individual whiteboards in the classroom.
Something about the tiled layout here. This is a relatively new option. They didn't always have the tiled layout in Google Meet. That was something that people asked for, because that was a Zoom feature that people liked, and Google set that up for us. So before they even did that, somebody created a Chrome extension that gave you the grid view that a lot of people downloaded before Google made it built in. So if you happen to who have downloaded that grid view first, and then you're using that, it doesn't allow you to do the tiled. It kind of locks you in to the extension and not the built-in tiled the way it works natively to Google Meet. This was an issue I had a few days ago doing a session like this where I still had the extension turned on. So when I tried to switch with these, it wouldn't let me. So if you want to use the tiled one here, make sure, and you've already downloaded that grid view extension, delete the grid view. It's obsolete now. You don't need it anymore because Google Meet has already built that in. So just something to be aware of.
Yep. That also shows that Google listens to feedback.
They do. They're actually very quick for a company that size to act on a lot of the feedback.
Yeah, absolutely.
So next we have again, we're going to be going over the 3 dots today.
That's right.
So they hide all the cool stuff. So the record meeting, as you can see, we're doing right now. What it does when you're done, when you stop recording at any time during the session, the first time you do it, it's going to create a Meet recordings folder in your Google Drive. You don't have to create it. It's automatically created for you the first time you record a meeting. There's no having to think about it. And then it'll automatically store everything in there. So let me kind of just show you what that looks like for real. It's one thing to do it, for me to talk about it, but I can show you for real. Here's my Meet recordings right here. And it does give you a transcript here of the chat.
Yes, of the
so
chat.
If you want, so it does. It's labeled. You see the date and time of when it started, when you started recording, and then this kind of funny little code here. That is the Google Meet join code that it has. So if you look, you can see my screen right here. It's like OMWXIUMPRH. That's what the file is going to be named in Google Drive. Oops, right here.
However, if you named it in Calendar,
yes,
like down here, this one says Get to Know Google Meet, and so that one has the name already. So that's a pretty cool thing if you start it there.
So it'll put side by side the actual recording, the video, and the transcript of the chat. I think someone was asking earlier about that.
They were asked about closed caption, but
okay.
The chat is there. Yeah.
Okay. So
but if you turn on closed caption on yours, then it would record that.
Yeah.
So what's really nice about, people were asking in the chat here about the difference between Google Meet and Zoom. And I will say, this is where Google Meet is great, because when you record a meeting in Zoom, either you have to download it to the cloud, which is paid, and
there's a limit,
or you have to download it to your computer, and that makes your computer slower because video files are very large. And so what's awesome about this is, as with Google Meet, you're using your school account, which has unlimited storage on your Google Drive, and so that recording automatically goes to Drive. You don't have to download it, upload it, find it, and that's just a big mess. So this is really nice, especially how Google also creates that folder, so it's all organized for you.
Yeah. So so about the fact that, just to build on that, if you're doing, because again, if you're gonna record a session with students and you're gonna share it with other members of that class who couldn't be there, which that's legally what we're allowed to do. You can't share it with kids who are not enrolled in that class. They'll say, I want to put it in my Google Classroom for kids who weren't there to access. It's already in your Drive, and you can drop that straight into the stream, or as part of an assignment, or a resource material. So it just makes it a lot easier to share the recorded video than Zoom.
So just a reminder that, in case you weren't here Wednesday, that Google Meet now integrates with Google Classroom, which is excellent. And so this is a GIF that kind of shows you how to do that. We went over that quite a bit, actually the first 2 sessions, Monday and Wednesday, and answered some questions about that. So once you get that recording of Monday and Wednesday, if you'd like, you can review how to create that Meet in Google Classroom. And that's, what, 3 weeks new, maybe?
Yeah, I would say
something
3,
like that.
Maybe 4. Yeah, it's
relatively new.
Yeah.
So great feature.
And that was a reaction to a lot of the issues with privacy and Zoom bombing and stuff. And they set it up where, when this one in Google Classroom, only the kids who are enrolled in that classroom can join. They could share that link to their friends or a stranger, and they can join. And the people who get it think they're joining, but they're not.
Mm-hmm.
They're
in a blank room.
Yeah, it's just a blank
room.
Yeah, it's an empty room, and
yeah.
they can't join. And when I'm done, when I come back to the settings, as you can see right here, when I turn off that switch, visible students, it kicks everybody out.
Yeah. So the question is accessing Monday and Wednesday's recordings. So that is something that Q emails to you, is our understanding.
Mm-hmm.
So when you register, they have all your emails. And so this weekend, we will send them all of our recordings, and then they will email them to you, is what we are understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Adam, you get to talk about this one. This is fun.
So again, with Google, they don't always give you everything. They kind of wait and see what everybody else is doing before they start. They kind of wait and see to see what are the cool features that people want in other products, and then they will adapt their products. So before they even actually build these things in there, they allow third-party developers to create extensions and other apps that work with their apps. That can be a little annoying sometimes. I wish they would just cut to the chase, but I get their what's the word there? Their logic. So Snap Camera. So a lot of people are always asking me, on Zoom, how do I do virtual backgrounds? I have done more tutorials on how to set virtual backgrounds on Zoom than I can remember. And so people are like, hey, can we do this with Zoom? And with Meet, I'm sorry. And originally I'm like, no, you can't. That's exclusive to Zoom. And then Snapchat stepped up and created an app that's free to download, called Snap Camera. So it's using Snapchat filters that will work with Google Meet.
Adam, is this just on a PC or Mac, or does it also work on a mobile device? Do you know?
I have never tried it on a mobile device, but I would assume that it might be able to work, because I mean Snapchat is made for mobile devices.
Okay.
I've never tried it. I mean, I could take a look at my phone and see if it's available. I mean, it's worth a quick gander, I guess. Let's see here, Snap Camera. Let's see if I can choose that real quick. There we go. Snap Camera. Let's see. No, that's not the one. So no, it's not available for mobile.
All right.
But most of the time, as educators, we're using laptops for our Google Meets, and I would definitely, as a facilitator, you're going to want to have and I like using Snap Camera when I do my office hours, because people don't know what I'm going to look like next time. So it uses those lenses, those filters, to kind of using that augmented reality to kind of really jazz it up. You saw earlier we had some using my favorite soccer team, Manchester United. We used one of their filters.
So why don't you show everyone in case they joined us a little afterwards?
Again, if you just Google it, Snap Camera, just Google it, and when you come to the website, then you just download it for whatever that you're a PC or a Mac, and it's easy to find. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate what this looks like here.
I'll drop the link into the chat as well for Snap Camera.
So again, go back to the there. I want to make sure that you guys can see when I do that. All right, good. All right, so again, I'm going to those three dots. So after I've downloaded it, and you have to log in with your Snapchat account. So if you don't have a Snapchat account, just sign up for it. It's free. Again, I never use Snapchat. I don't sit there and take pictures of myself and look at people's snaps. That's not what I use it for. I use it for book snaps. So if you don't know what book snaps are, you can ask me later. Book snaps are cool. But anyways, so once you have downloaded it on your computer, logged in with Snapchat, then you're going to go to those three dots again, and you're going to go to your settings. Then you go settings. You're going to click on video. And then right here, you get to choose your camera. And once you've downloaded it or you've installed Snap Camera, when you go here, it's going to become one of your choices. So I'm going to click the choice right there. And let me stop presenting. The very last, filter that I used was for my favorite soccer team, Manchester United. So if I go down to, I have Snap Camera on my MacBook right here. Oops, where'd it go? There we go. So as I'm right here, you guys aren't able to see that, I guess. So what it does, you guys can't see that. That's too bad. It'll pop up, and I can search all the different lenses. So I'm also a Lakers fan. Let me find a Lakers one here. There's a Lakers one. That's a decent one. Let's see. Oh, that's a cool one right there. Look at that. So now, like I'm in the stands at Staples Center. So yeah, you can really get creative. Some of the lenses are backgrounds. Some are just the face paint or the little effects. So you can definitely have some fun with Snap Camera. I'm gonna take this out because it's kind of tripping me out. So I'm gonna go back to my regular camera.
By the way, if there's text and it looks if it looks backwards for you, it's going to mirror it and look correct for you, those that are watching.
Yep. All right, let's go back to present mode.
By the way, I think it was, who was it? Paige has downloaded a extension that we're going to talk about in a bit, and I've been able to, since I have it downloaded, I've been able to see like her reactions and stuff. Cool. So that's been kind of neat.
That's what, all right, that's what that
you've been seeing that pop up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the Chrome Web Store has got tons of these great Google Meet extensions that really kind of jazz up your whole Google Meet experience. Again, I wish these things would be built in.
Maybe
Zoom,
someday.
But it does give you a kind of measure of control of
True.
What features that you want, and then you don't have to go searching for them. It's more.
I guess it's more simple that way. Yeah. If you want to just use it, in a simple way. So if you'd like a whiteboard, if you haven't tried the Jamboard app, oh no, Paige, that's totally cool. It's a good example. Trying it out. We'll talk so basically, Paige, just so you know, we're going to talk about an extension in a moment, and if anyone that does have that is in a meet and has that extension can see what the others are posting. So anyway, so I'm going to post one, and then Paige is going to be able to see it. But we'll talk about that in a bit. So if you'd like a whiteboard that's a Google whiteboard, essentially, you could present your screen and use Jamboard. Jamboard is, the cool part about it is it's collaborative as well. It has the opportunity to be collaborative. You don't have to have it be collaborative. So let's just show them real quick, Adam. I started one in this account, so.
Oh, it's already in there?
Well, just go to jamboard.google.com.
Okay, we'll start from the beginning.
Yeah. You're going to go to jamboard.google.com.
You can also access the Jamboard in your Drive. So if I go to New, oops, don't want to do that. New, I go down to More, and then over here it says Google Jamboard.
Yeah.
You can also access it that way. So
that's kind of new.
Yeah, it is relatively new.
So here's the cool thing about this. You could use it as a whiteboard. So you would, share your screen like we're doing. Use it as a whiteboard. I don't have a touch screen right now, so it's real ugly. You could do a sticky note. Change the color, whatever. A sticky note. Okay, could do lots of sticky notes. If I wanted to, I could share this like any other Google product, and I could either send the link to people, or I could add specific students or those that are in my group. So if I have a small group of kids, this could be really helpful. You can also add images and search for one. So let's say, I know Adam likes Manchester United. I'm gonna do something I like though.
You're gonna put Disney.
I am gonna put Disneyland, yes. I'm so sad that I can't go there. Oh, I'm so sad I can't go there right now. So I'm going to put in Disneyland. It's going to search Google. I can instantly put that in there. And then you can also go to a new page, do more stuff, whatever you want to do. And then go back and forth.
Go back over here to the laser pointer.
Oh, yeah.
So you could also, what I've done before, I was experimenting with Jamboard. What I did, I created a slide, some slides in Google Slides, and I screenshotted them, and then I had 3 slides. So I put each slide on a different page here. Then you can use this laser pointer and kind of teach a lesson that way. That's another way to do it. So yeah, it's really a lot of opportunities to be creative here and collaborative. I think this really works well with those small groups.
Yes.
I know I've some of our SPED teachers who work with small groups of kids have been experimenting with this. Oh yeah, I could if I had a small group of kids, I could have like if I was teaching first grade, I'd have like the IR
AR and OR, right? This is awful with no touchscreen. Anyway, and so then maybe kids would write. Maybe I'd say, "Oh, Adam, can you please write a word that has the AR?" And so he'd write car. And at the same time, so all the kids would be, maybe someone else would be working on the OR sounds or whatever. So lots of ways that you can use this.
They could do sticky notes inside.
Yeah, sticky notes they
Yeah,
can do too.
that might even be better.
That would be
for the students
if they don't have
If they don't have a
touch screens.
touchscreen.
You don't want it to look like this.
I mean, if you want to actually annotate things, like let's say you have like some kind of a graphic
Oh,
organizer.
a picture, yeah.
You could throw the picture on there.
Yeah.
And if you have
because you can upload.
again, if you're doing a separate screen, like let's say you have an iPad with a stylus, then you could totally rock that. So the possibilities are.
Yeah, maybe I'd want to write on this.
Yep.
And I can. Anyway, so I put the link, just jamboard.google.com, in there. It's an underutilized app because a lot of people just don't know about it. So we wanted to share it with
the thing is why Jamboard, people don't know too much about it, because originally Jamboard was actually a physical piece of hardware. It was like a 55-inch touch screen that was on wheels that you could buy for like a lot of money.
You still can, $5,000. I think it's $5,000, yeah.
And they so then they said, you know what, let's just make this an app, because everyone's got a touch screen, that people don't have to be buying the hardware to use this really cool tool. We've got to play with the actual physical Jamboards before. They are very cool, but they are not cost effective. We will say that.
Right, absolutely. All right, so extensions. This one's pretty cool. I mean, especially if others have this extension as well. So this is called Google Meet Plus. Seems like pretty new. Like there's not even any.
Yeah, this is. I didn't even heard of this one.
Brand new, I think.
There was one that was getting touted last week that I sent a lot of people to.
Yeah,
this one I hadn't heard of.
And yeah, no reviews yet. It says more than 20,000 users though, so that kind of confuses me.
A lot of people don't use it.
It said it was new.
People don't really review those things. We just go there. And
That's true. That's true. So here's where you would download the extension. Let me show you a little bit about it. So once you download it, when you open a Google Meet, this stuff's going to be there. So you could have a whiteboard. Adam, on this particular account, Adam doesn't have it, but
I can show you how to do it. I'm gonna do it real quick. So I'm gonna go to Chrome.
Oh, how to download it? Perfect.
Chrome Web Store. Do a quick Google search. Type in Chrome Web Store.
Yep.
First result, there it is, and it's called Google Meet Plus. So actually, if you just type in Google Meet and just see all the different ones here. Click more extensions. It'll just show you.
Then there's a lot more.
There are tons of extensions you can do. Here's one that I had messed with, Google Meet Attendance, that will give you it'll throw everyone who joins on a spreadsheet. So if you need to take attendance, this is one that definitely can work. The nod reactions is one I've been hearing people talk a lot about. Google Meet Enhancement Suite is another.
Has a few things.
Yeah, it's like a group.
I don't think it had a whiteboard, as I recall.
No, the Google Meet Grid View. This one you don't need anymore because they put the Grid View, the tile view already built in. So this one I actually got rid of because I don't. It's obsolete now.
Right.
Push to talk. This is a new one that makes it easier to kind of mute and unmute. Like you just press the button and it unmutes you. So there's not having to go find the button there with your mouse. But this one right here, the Google Meet Plus.
Oh, you already have it on Chrome.
Yeah, this is on this account we do.
Oh, I put it on this account. Okay,
Yeah.
well then why don't you go back to you'll just have to click on the
I need to be in Meet, huh?
in Meet. Oh, see, because it's on this account. That's why.
That's right. Yeah. So
You got to download it on this account.
yeah, we're account hopping right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So essentially, let's go back to the presentation and I'll show them then. So again, you can have a whiteboard. Now, if someone else in your, so you'd want to like share the screen and then show them the whiteboard. If somebody else also in your Meet also has this extension, they can write on the whiteboard too. So it is collaborative. Now, it's not as cool as Jamboard. It doesn't have quite as many features. You can't like search for an image and stuff, but it still is kind of neat. The other thing that's really cool is the timer. So again, if anyone else on the Meet call that has this app in the Meet is going to see my timer. I can say that I'm away for a moment. I could put in an emoji reaction, which is kind of cool. So there's more things too, but just wanted to kind of show you. So here's what the whiteboard looks like. not quite as many features at all as Jamboard, but it's still, it's still something that it's right there. It's real simple. So, it's one feature of the Google Meet Plus extension. Here's what the timer looks like. And if I started the timer on my account where I have Google Meet open and put that timer on, then actually Paige would see it because she's got the app as well, and she'd get this notification also. So you really benefit the most if more than one person has this extension downloaded already.
So this can be easily. So you're like, well, how are my students going to get this? Like, a lot of times students aren't allowed to go to the Chrome Web Store on their Google accounts. So this is when you call the person who's in charge of your Google Apps domain and say, hey, can you push this extension to the students' browsers? It's very easy. It can be done in less than a minute. If they say, like, I don't know how to do that, you guys have my contact information. You have them call me, and I'll walk them through it. I've been doing this for a long time. It's easy to push out extensions to all the browsers for all the students.
Yeah. So yeah, the cool thing is if they all have this extension and I click this and I choose this emoji, it shows all these different options, then all the kids will say, my name really wants to say something.
I mean, if you're doing a wellness check-in, then imagine how they can express themselves using emojis.
Yeah, that's a good point. Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely, Michelle. It's something like Adam said, IT can push it to a whole group of kids. Yeah. If some districts, they let them download extensions, some don't. So
yeah, I have shut the Chrome Web Store down because kids will start putting too many things like themes and stuff. So, but this is something that definitely you can easily make the case. We need this for distance learning.
Yeah, social, emotional, the timer.
You can show them the slides and say, hey, I went to this session.
Yeah.
This is a highly recommended extension. A lot of times the IT guys, if they're in charge of it, they're like, well, I need to hear from admin. But if you go to the admin first, say, hey, we need this, then the admin goes to the IT, then they get them to do it a lot quicker.
Yeah. So Paige, unfortunately, there's not a raise hand feature native in Google Meet like there is in Zoom. So that's hopefully they'll be adding that. But at this point,
if this extension gets so popular, be prepared. Google's probably going to just build all this stuff into it. So that's kind of how they operate. They see what the people want before they actually they kind of fill out the whole feature suite.
But wait, there's more.
Crap, there is.
There's actually trivia. So you can actually Isn't that crazy? There's trivia. Yeah. So
we're looking for a fun end of the year activity.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Wow. So I'm glad we found this one.
But there is a disclaimer that not all answers are 100% correct.
Well, that makes it fun, right?
So it's kind of fun. Anyway, all right. These are some other extensions that are that I've heard a lot about. This one, if you wanted to save the transcription of the chat, but you don't want to record the actual meeting, I've heard a lot of people talk about this one. I haven't tried this one. But if there's actually a Google Meet waiting room extension, if that works, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to add that one. I heard about this. I haven't done it yet, but it's one.
Have you heard good things?
Definitely, yeah. That's definitely one that I want.
Yeah,
that's a Zoom feature I've been wanting to Meet forever.
Yep. So we've got a couple minutes left, but Adam, do you want to speak to and show real quick the live stream options and also speak to, like, I don't have it on my account, so if they don't, all that.
So live streaming is an option if who's ever in charge of your Google Apps domain enables it. And it's, again, all they have to do is go into the console, they type Meet, they pull up the settings, and there's live stream. Just click the button, turn on. It can be done in less than a minute. So the live stream, what it does, it's not going to send it to like Facebook or YouTube. But what it will do, it'll create a live stream link that you can then share out. So maybe you're doing something where you don't want kids to participate, you just want them to watch. So maybe, for example, you are interviewing a scientist, or you're doing a Q&A, just you and some kind of author for a story. So you just want them to watch, and then have them watch it, and then maybe your next Google Meet session with kids, you're going to discuss it. So how that works is pretty simple. let me get to my.
If it's turned on, and
If it's
again,
turned on,
if it's
yeah.
not, just let your IT know.
So what you would do is, let's see, live stream. Oh, is it?
So you have to do it in calendar, remember?
That's right. It's in calendar. I forgot. All right. So if I'm going to create one here in calendar, I go to calendar. A little more options here. And I go to add video conferencing. And then right here, I can remove it, or I can hit the little drop down menu right here.
You're in the account that doesn't have the option.
Am I?
You must be.
No, I'm not.
Because you tried it before.
Oh, that's right. We haven't done it that one. Wrong. You're right. Wrong account. See? Too many accounts
Too many
open.
accounts.
All right, so let me try that now. There we go. It'll work, I promise. So add Google Meet, hit the little drop down, and then add
There it
live
is.
stream. So watch what happens. Okay, it's gonna create that live stream link right here. It's right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and call this test. Oops, that's not good. All right, so here we are, test. I'll open it up. Watch live stream. So you can share this link with kids. I mean, kids aren't going to check the calendar, but you can just copy it right here, drop that in Google Classroom, and as an announcement. So click live stream, watch what happens. Okay, so it hasn't started yet,
Right.
but it's right there. So when I join the meet as the host and we start talking, then they're going to start seeing everything. But there's really nothing for them to do. All they can do is watch.
Right.
So
No participation,
Yeah.
but you may want that at some point.
that could be a function that you may feel like
Or
you need.
maybe you want your students to be on a meet for, I don't know, whatever it happens to be, some sort of public, they want an authentic audience. And so the public gets to watch them,
Yep.
as they're presenting or whatever it is.
Mhm.
So reversing yourselves on camera happens automatically.
Mhm.
So there's not a button for that. Now I know on Zoom you can switch it. I don't think you can. I know on the old YouTube Live you could change the mirroring. I don't think you can on Meet. I've never seen that.
Yeah, that's a relatively new feature.
Right. So yeah, automatically it reverses yourself, and that's that. So well, it is 4:46. So if you have somewhere you'd need to be or would like to be on this 3-day weekend, feel free to go ahead and log off. But we'll stay for a few minutes if anybody wanted to ask questions or have us demonstrate something again. Thanks so much. And as always, feel free to reach out to us anytime.